Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News this morning. Kind enough to be joined by United States House of Representatives of Kansas 2nd District, Jake Laturner. Jake, a Pittsburgh State grad and Galena native. Jake, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Congratulations on the election. I want to jump into some political conversation here. You just came back from a trip to the Texas-Mexico border. You made several trips, as a matter of fact. Explain to us exactly, number one, why you made the trip. Number two, the exploration and the fact-finding mission that you brought back with you.
One of the most important jobs I have here in Congress is serving on the Homeland Security Committee. And there's no greater issue facing our country today than the southern border. You can see it on TV, you can read about it, but you don't really understand it until you're down there and see it with your own eyes. It is absolutely a crisis. I interacted with young unaccompanied children that have just gone through weeks of travel with drug smugglers. The drug cartels get paid every time there's a border crossing illegally. They control the Mexican side of the border so well that you have to pay them to get across. And so children are going through a terrible, harrowing journey.
Okay, so Congressman, with that being on the board right there, you were elected by constituents to provide answers to these, solutions to these. Where do we go from here then, down to the southern border?
Well, what President Biden did on the day of his inauguration was halt border construction, the wall. I saw millions of dollars worth of equipment and materials sitting there rusting, waiting to be built. Congress, a bipartisan Congress, supported building sections of the wall that Joe Biden stopped. We have to start the construction. Talk to any Border Patrol agent along the southern border. They will tell you that walls work.
Okay, President Biden signed the executive order there. So tell me, as a member of the House of the United States Representatives, what is your next course of action?
Our next course of action is to do two things. One, we need to appropriate the funds that the Border Patrol needs. We need to make sure that they have the resources. They need more manpower. They need more equipment. They're being asked to do jobs that they were never trained to do. They're being asked to be social workers right now in many instances. They are detaining these unaccompanied children. And meanwhile, we have the drug cartels slipping fentanyl, methamphetamines across the southern border. We need President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris to go to the border and see this for themselves. We've got to give the Border Patrol resources they need, and we need to start the border wall construction immediately.
As part of that Department of Homeland Security Committee, what are the recommendations that you're sending forward to not only your own part of Congress, but to Senate and to the White House?
Three things. We need to start the border wall construction immediately. We need to give the Border Patrol the resources that they need, the manpower, the equipment, and the facilities. And we need to make certain that we have enough immigration judges, so there aren't these long backlogs where we tell people here's a court date, and guess what? They never show up for it. We are having a lot of border crossings that are a big problem, and it's not just the unaccompanied children. It'll break your heart what these kids are going through. They're being endangered by the drug cartels. But we also have, while the Border Patrol is being overwhelmed by the unaccompanied children and families, we have the drug cartel crossing our borders. They're wearing military gear. There's instances of kidnappings, murders. We have to get control of our southern border.
Congressman Jake Laturner, United States House of Representatives from Kansas's 2nd District. Congressman, I want to thank you for joining us. Coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to talk about another White House announcement with the congressman concerning the troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.